So this man right here is Craig Miller. He was Lucasfilm's fan relations officer around the time of The Empire Strikes Back's release. And to ensure that Star Wars wasn't a one-hit wonder, he was tasked with engaging audiences ahead of the sequel's release. One of his biggest ideas was to work with Starlog magazine to actually share officially sanctioned rumors. A studio giving away utterly crazy, sometimes true spoilers willingly? It may sound rather mad, but it only went and bloody works. So with that all in mind, I am Gareth, this is What Culture Star Wars, and here are 10 crazy rumors Lucasfilm started about The Empire Strikes Back in 1980. Number 10. Han and Luke will die. When speculating about Han Solo's potential death in The Force Awakens, many fans pointed towards statements from Harrison Ford around the time of Return of the Jedi saying the smuggler should die to up the stakes. However, the prospect actually predates that. Ford only signed on for one sequel, so there was always the potential he'd leave after Empire, leading to much speculation that Craig Miller really steered into. Said rumor reads as follows. The most disquieting rumor, which was reported in People magazine, is that Han Solo is killed in action, leaving the field clear for Luke. But then we've also heard that Mark Hamill doesn't want to be in Star Wars 3, and so Luke gets killed. Or that both Luke and Han die and the saga continues with either the princess or one of the new characters in the lead. Thinking back, there's actually only really been one Star Wars movie involving Han that we knew coming in at least, where there haven't been rumors Han Solo will die. The 1977 original. It is interesting that they even went as far as to hint at Luke's death too, adding even more layers to the lie, the cheeky scoundrels. Number 9. Han Solo fights Darth Vader and they fuse. Just looking at these rumors, it is striking how undefined the key mechanics of the galaxy actually were at this point. From who could use the Force to even how a damn lightsaber worked. And one take on Empire's final fight, Miller seeded, surprisingly had Han take on Darth Vader in a duel. And well, you're about to hear what happened. Near the climax, Han Solo crosses lightsabers with Darth Vader. Although Han doesn't really know how to use the weapon, he's doing fairly well when suddenly the light beams are fused together and Han's and Vader's life forces are intermingled. Luke has a chance to come to the rescue, but if he kills Vader, might he not kill his friend too? Now, this sort of moral conundrum really played into the more complex angle they were going for with Empire, sure, but there's no escaping that it still sounds a touch dumb. Nobody could have bought this, right? Who am I kidding? I would have. I am that idiot. Now, I've got a quick question for you. What is your favourite current rumour about an incoming Star Wars project? You drop it in the comment section down below. Number 8, there's a real effort to make Boba Fett mysterious. One of the most anticipated additions to The Empire Strikes Back was Boba Fett, who had been slowly introduced as a key Star Wars figure in parades and the Star Wars Holiday Special. You remember that, right? Because he was less established, many of Miller's rumors are actually a bit closer to the truth. Note the use of smell, people. Another of the new characters has the evil-smelling name of Boba Fett, he said. They say he'll rival Darth Vader for sheer terrorism. Apparently, he's a remnant of the old Imperial shock troopers, who once made the stormtroopers look like school-crossing guards. Then others say, no, he was never a shock trooper. He has merely adopted their uniform as a symbol of his nefarious purpose. Boba Fett wears Wookiee scalps on his shoulder, or alternately dangling from his belt. The most interesting speculation about Boba Fett is that he is a bounty hunter who will work for whichever side pays him the most. And he plays both sides when he can get away with it. Here's a rumor within a rumor. Boba Fett will be played by one actor, and his voice will be overdubbed by another. And even those in the Lucasfilm office do not know who will be dubbing the voice. A lot of truth in there, a few lies. But all of it made him seem like an absolute badass. Number 7, Vader is Luke's father, and other crazy suggestions. Wait, what? As the story of the saga-redefining twist that Darth Vader was Luke's father goes, the reveal was kept so tight you could count the people who knew it on one hand. Irving Kershner, George Lucas, Lawrence Kasdan, Mark Hamill, and James Earl Jones. And Hamill was only told about the real twist moments before shooting. All of this was done in the effort to keep the mystery as tight as possible. And yet Lucasfilm just gave it up readily months before release. When discussing the rumoured final lightsaber duel between Luke and Vader, allegedly to make up for the pair not having a direct confrontation in Star Wars, there was talk of some final shocker. Here goes. More than once we've heard that it turns out that Vader is really Luke's father. Of course, we've also heard from reliable sources that Ben Kenobi is really Luke's father, and from still other sources that Ben killed Luke's father. Whether Miller intended to give away the twist or if he even knew of it is unknown, but this still somewhat realigns the contemporary view of how the secret was handled all those years ago. I mean, they were just throwing it in magazines. Number 6, Vader's mask is explained and removed. One of the biggest potential hazards with revealing Darth Vader as Luke's father was that audiences may not really buy the foreboding figure as any way human. So there was a noticeable effort to humanize him in Empire, with Yoda talking about his seduction and Luke's cave vision hinting at the man underneath. Miller started seeding this concept ahead of time by suggesting the promise of an explanation for why he's in the suit, and directly alluding to a scene in the finished film. It has also been reported that in Empire we learn considerably more about most of the continuing characters, including why Darth Vader wears that mask. We've also heard that in one scene we see Vader without the mask. This all stoked the flames of anticipation while actually relating little to the finished film. The reasoning behind Vader's mask had been decided by Lucas at this point, but wouldn't be revealed on film until Revenge of the Sith, while that unmasking scene is only from behind. Cheeky. Cheers for checking out this What Culture Star Wars video today, my friend. If you're enjoying what you're watching, then hit that subscribe button down below for more of this What Culture stuff in your day. Number 5, Luke melts down C-3PO to kill a monster. Now what's important to remember with these rumours is that all fans previously had to go on was official released materials, which basically amounted to a trailer and a couple of stills. As such, the plot was up in the air, and that allowed Miller quite a bit of freedom. Even Starlog said admittedly this next story doesn't sound too likely, but they still ran it because why the hell not? Luke and C-3PO are captured by a horrendous alien, who dumps them into a tank-like prison filled with a breathable liquid. The only way the alien can be killed, shades of Dracula, is to drive a metal stake through his heart. The only metal around, unfortunately, is C-3PO. And Luke melts the droid down to fabricate the weapon. I mean, that's dark even for The Empire Strikes Back. Number 4, Leia betrays Han and Luke. It appears that Miller came up with so many ridiculous alternate versions of The Empire Strikes Back that rather than leaving them out, Starlog just listed the more bonkers ones at once, as the article ends with just a random collection of ideas. And some of them are absolutely nuts, like this one. Princess Leia is captured by stormtroopers and delivered to Darth Vader, who, by use of the Force, seduces her into betraying Luke and Han. Yep, this one is definitely one of the more out there ones. And it also doesn't help that the theory reduces Leia to being a damsel in distress again. How original. Number 3, Darth Vader turns good. Now, most of these theories will have just been Miller's own work. Essentially, fan predictions purposely meant to be different to the film. However, he did actually manage to predict a bit of the future here, and good for him. Through the use of the Force, Luke persuades Darth Vader of the error of his ways and convinces him to enlist with the rebels against the Empire. At the time, George Lucas's plan for Star Wars was to continue to Episode 9 and beyond. And while Vader didn't factor fully into all of his plans, the sequel trilogy would have dealt with Luke looking for his non-Leia sister ahead of taking on the Emperor. His redemption certainly wasn't decided on at this point, which actually makes this one kind of prophetic. The Force was strong with Miller. Number 2, Leia's father is the Emperor's assistant. In a bid to lend legitimacy to these planted theories, Miller penned a response letter that, responded to some of the ideas, but also threw out a few more, making it look like Starlog had trawled a bunch of sources. These included Mick Jagger doing the score for Empire, Spielberg directing Star Wars 3, and this major plot twist right here. I think my current favourite concerns Princess Leia's father. Of royal heritage, he is the nephew of the Emperor, and rather than leading the rebellion, he is actually a double agent. Forewarned of the Death Star's attack on Alderaan, he escaped and now sits in the Emperor's court, advising him. This was obviously a big ol' lie. Although it does serve as fan prep in a way, it sets up the idea of the series canon being altered with a major galaxy-shattering parental twist in Empire. It just was not this specific twist. And number 1, time travel. Now here's a theory Miller peppered in several times to really make it seem genuine. We were gonna get time travel, yep, and not parsec fiddling. No, straight up Back to the Future-esque timeline meddling. There's some crazy variations in how it'd work. Some have the characters going backwards, some far into the future, but it's all utterly bonkers. The Millennium Falcon falls into a black hole with Luke, Leia, Han, Chewie, and Darth Vader aboard, and travels through time. Relating vaguely to that black hole rumor, it is said that Han Solo and Chewie land on a desert planet where they meet time travelers from Earth's 13th century, who are trying to fight off stormtroopers with catapults and crossbows. The Millennium Falcon passes through a time warp, and Luke, Han, and Chewbacca end up fighting in the Clone Wars, side by side with Luke's father and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yep, damn it, now I actually kinda want a movie of Luke fighting alongside Anakin in the Clone Wars. You never know, eh? But yep, these were all crazy.